Hello, everybody. So, the title of this one is The Big Push to Groom Children Using CRT. Now, before we even get into it, I know what some of you are going to say, oh, grooming. Oh, what does CRT have to do with the sexualization of children? Nothing for the purposes of this video. Okay, so let's just nip this in the bud right from the beginning. The definition of grooming: the practice of preparing or training someone. It's exactly what we're going to talk about here. The training and preparing we're talking about in this video is CRT and what it's being used for. Um, so I was listening to a Twitter Spaces with James O'Keefe from Project Veritas and Sarah Carter and a whole bunch of other journalists. But so it was a very interesting Spaces. Talked about CRT. James O'Keefe has a Hasbro, the toy manufacturer, whistleblower. His name is David Johnson. Uh, he also has a video of a Dr. Quentin Bostic, who is the architect of a curriculum being used in Georgia, in Fulton County, and somewhere else, where he admittedly is pushing CRT despite the fact that CRT is illegal. It's illegal for the state to fund CRT in the state of Georgia. And obviously, the states are funding these schools. So, making it illegal. Uh, so, you have to ask yourself, what is going on? And why are we allowing these people to program our children? Uh, People say it's not going on, but it is going on. And just so people know, there is a famous Mao philosophy, and that's you use the kids to change the parents. Okay, historically speaking, one of the lessons that even Hitler learned early on is that you'll never be able to change the parents they're set in the ways. So you go after the kids. And that's exactly what he did. He went from the parents raising the kids to the state and the school raising the kids. And look how that, okay, over a generation or so, you get a bunch of brainwashed youth, and they're conditioned to do whatever you want. Well, Mao had a similar but different technique, and that was to use the kids to change the parents. Um, if you break down the dynamic of the family and you create all sorts of controversy within the family, you're going to families have to, what do you do when your kid comes home and he decides to tell you that I'm no longer a boy, I'm a girl? Now, what are you going to throw him in the garbage? No. Now you're forced dealing with something that you probably would have never had to deal with, and it forces change in the parents, and the form of now you have to deal with it. You know, it's your kid. What are you going to do? And according to Sarah Carter, she says curriculums like these, and she's talking about the David Bostic CRT curriculum. The curriculum is designed to drive a wedge between the kids and the parents. And they kind of openly admit it. These groups. I know this is a different group, non-related, but here's a from Black Lives Matter. One of their goals, and they're not shy about this, is to dismantle Western civilization, uh, because it's oppressive. And that's where this CRT comes in. We're teaching kids that this is oppressive. And I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, oh, 10, 11, 12-year-old kids, oh, the horror. No, 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 much earlier than that. I'm talking 2 to 3-year-olds and kindergartners now. Yes, you heard that correct. 2 to 3-year-olds. So there's a project with, oh boy, can't talk, a Project Veritas whistleblower David Johnson. He's a Hasbro CRT whistleblower. Um, and he says that they were pushing knowingly and purposely, Hasbro was knowingly and purposely pushing CRT propaganda on packaging for kids' toys and the actual toy itself, developing it to propagandize kids as young as 2 to 3 years old. Now, that's not me saying this. This is David Johnson, who is a Hasbro whistleblower. Uh, why are we doing that? What what good reason could come out of that? And just so you know, if you're watching this on BitChute, Rumble, or YouTube, in the description below, there's going to be a link to an article about this on Substack that's also going to have this video. If you're watching on Substack, the article is just below this video. Also, I have the James O'Keefe video with Dr. Bostic that I'm about to discuss next. And if you're watching on BitChute or Rumble, it'll be the video before this one, or you could just click the link to Substack and take a look at the rest of the information there. There's also a link to Quentin Bostic and his webpage, so you can see a little bit about who he is, and also um, a news article about David Johnson, so you get an idea of him. And there's an interview with him, so you can get an idea of who he is as well. I'm just here to bring the information. What it means is up to you. But I can tell you that it is a fact that Mao had a philosophy to use kids to change the parents. That appears, in my opinion, to be what we're seeing here. So now on to Mr. Bostic, Mr. Wonderful here. Uh, he has a curriculum that he sells to these schools in Georgia. Like I said, Fulton County is one of them, and then there's another one. And the state pays for this, which David Bostic admits in a video that he's pushing CRT, which he knows, he also admits in the video, he knows is illegal in the state of Georgia. But what does Mr. Bostic proudly do? Well, before we get to that, his view, and he says this in the video, is if you don't say CRT, you can still teach it. Just don't say it. Those are his words, not mine. He also says that people don't know what CRT is, especially because the media tells people it doesn't exist, but people don't know what it is unless they hear it. So, what does Mr. Bostic do? Well, what would you do if you were Mr. Bostic? If you said change the term, you're correct. So, what term does Mr. Bostic use? DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion. Now, somebody like me hears that term, I know it's some, nefarious brainwash. I mean, it screams it when you read it. But nonetheless, we changed the terms, and apparently nobody looks. And in his own words, he's pushing this to kindergarten kids. Uh, so in the video, he's also laughing at you, not me. I don't have kids. I shouldn't have to sit here and tell people this. However, he's laughing, saying he is making money on ignorant people. They think you're ignorant. People need to take a stand against this. Now, I know that this particular situation with James O'Keefe is involving Georgia, but Just like we learned in the Twitter files, don't think Twitter was the only social media company that was censoring. You might, when you hear Twitter, you might as well include them all. And I'm here to tell you with the school situation and CRT and DEI, I will guarantee you they're doing the same stunt everywhere. Now, maybe they're not calling it DEI, but if I was a parent with a kid in school, I would be combing through their curriculum and to look for words like diversity, equity, inclusion, because they're going to look for clever ways to church up CRT because now the parents are onto CRT. So now we're just going to change the words and try to trick and deceive. Uh, a lot of people think it's conspiracy theory that they're brainwashing kids, and I grew up hearing how, oh, there's that, in my history books or social studies, as they called it then, which should have been a sign. Social studies, it's history. Anyway, I was always taught, oh, that's wrong, this wrong, that's wrong. And I'd say to myself, what the fuck? It's in the history book. What do you mean it's wrong? Well, it was wrong. And here we are, and we're doing more of it, uh, and now in the form of CRT. And you got to ask yourself also, not only is, okay, this is happening just in Georgia. No, it is. It's probably happening in your state too, and it's not just CRT. It's a lot of the sexualization of children too. Don't think that that's not going on just because that's not what this video here is about tonight. Stay tuned. That's going on as well. And just one last thing before I end this. I will be posting another video tomorrow from Project Veritas. He's got more on Dr. Bostic. Supposedly, it's a lot more explosive than the one tonight. That's typically how he does it. It's like a drip, drip, drip kind of a thing. So look forward to another drop. Keep an eye on James O'Keefe. If you're watching this on Substack, or you go there from BitChute or whatever, if you click on the video that I put on there from James O'Keefe, you could go right to his Twitter account. This way, when he posts it tomorrow, you will end up seeing it. And if you would do me a favor, please like, share, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you think. Um, and check out our sponsors. That's how we fund this. It's the only way I could do it full time, and any little bit that helps. Um, and as I said, even just a like, a share is good enough. Okay. Thank you. Until next time. Bye.